Imagine standing in front of a massive stone staircase. Thousands of years ago, people from different parts of ancient world walked up this step carrying gifts for the Persian king. They came from places such as Egypt, Babylonia, Central Asia, and they were not simply visiting a place. They were entering Persepolis, one of the most extraordinary monuments of ancient Persian world. But why was Persepolis built? Was it capital, a place, a palace, a religious center, or something much bigger? To understand Persepolis, we need to go back to the 6th century BC. The Persian Empire had grown enormously under Cyrus the Great and his successors. By the time Darius the Great became the king in 522 BC, the Persian Empire controlled a vast territory stretching across 3 continents. Darius needed more than an army to rule such a huge empire. He also needed a way to represent the power and unity of Persian monarchy. And this is where Persepolis enters the story around 518 BC. Darius began constructing a monumental royal complex in the region of Persia in southwestern Iran. The location was carefully chosen. The buildings were constructed on an enormous artificial terrace surrounded by mountains. The project was not completed during Darius' lifetime. His son continued the constructing, and later Persian kings added their own buildings and monuments. Persepolis was therefore not the work of king. It was a project developed by generation of Persian rulers. So what was its purpose? First, Persepolis was a ceremonial center, the most famous part of complex in the Apanada, a huge audience hall with enormous columns. Here, the Persian king could receive important visitors and representatives from different parts of the empire. The Wall of Persepolis contains some of the most famous reliefs from the ancient Persia world. They show delegation arriving from different nations. Each group represents with its own clothing, hairstyle, and gifts. One group carrying animals, another brings vessels, another carry textiles or other valuable objects. These senses are extremely important because they show how the Persian Empire want to present itself. Notice something interesting. The people in the reliefs are not shown fighting, they are shown approaching the king peacefully. This was probably international. This message was not simply Persia had conquered you. The message was closer to the people of the empire come together under the authority of Persian king. This is the one of the most reason Persepolis was important. It was architecture used as a political communication, but Persepolis also had connection to royal Persian ceremonies. The empire was enormous and its population was incredibly diverse. Persians, Babylonians, Egyptians, Greeks, Elamites, and many other people lived under Persian rule. The magnificent ceremonial center could bring representatives of this enormous empire together and visually demonstrate the scale of the monarchy. The architecture itself communicates power, massive columns, huge staircases, detailed stone reliefs, monumental gateways, and buildings designed to impress anyone who entered the complex. One of the most famous structure is the Gate of All Nations. It was constructed under Kheshayar Shah. Its name reflects the enormous diversity of the Persian Empire. Visitors entering the complex would pass through this monumental gateway before reaching the ceremonial areas. But there is another fascinating question. Was Persepolis the main capital of the Persian Empire? Not exactly. The Persian kings had several important royal centers. Pasargad was associated with Cyrus the Great. Susa was another major administrative and royal center. Babylon was one of the greatest cities of the ancient Near East, and Persepolis had its own special role. It was particularly important as a ceremonial and royal center. This distinction matters because Persepolis was not simply an ancient version of a modern capital city. It was part of a network of royal centers across the empire. Now let's talk about the people who actually built it. The scale of Persepolis required enormous amounts of labor and expertise. Stone workers, architects, carvers, metal workers, transport workers, administrators, and many other specialists were involved. The empire brought together skills from different regions, and you can actually see this international influence in this architecture. The columns and the decorative elements combine different artistic tradition. This tells us something important. The Persian Empire was not culturally isolated. It connected many regions and traditions. Persian rulers brought, adopted, and combined ideas from across their empire, and Persepolis became a physical expression of that multicultural world. Then something happened that changed its history forever. In 330 BC, Alexander the Macedon captured the Persepolis. Soon afterward, much of its palace complex was burned. The exact circumstances and intentions behind destruction are still debates. Ancient sources connect the burning with Alexander, but history continue discuss why it happened and how deliberate the destruction was. Some theories connected it to a revenge from earlier Persian attack on Greek cities. Others suggest political symbolism, and some historical believe part of the destruction might have been accidental or happened during celebrations. Whatever the exact reason, the fire changed Persepolis forever. The city had taken generations to build was left largely abandoned. But stone survived, and those stones continue telling us the story. Today, when we look at the Persepolis, we are not simply looking at the ruins, we are looking at the political message carved into stone. A message from an empire that wanted to show the world its true power, its wealth, and its diversity. The delegation on the walls are especially powerful. They remind us Persian Empire was not made up only one people. It was a vast collection of cultures, languages, and traditions. The Persepolis was designed to represent that world. So, why was Persepolis built? It was built to be a royal and ceremonial center. It was built to receive important visitors. It was built to display the authority of Persian kings. And perhaps most importantly, it was built to create lasting image of Persian Empire. Darius started the version, Khashar Shah expanded, later kings continued it, and thousands of years later we can still walk through the remains of creation. The empire is gone, the kings are gone, but the message remains, stone by stone, relief by relief. Persepolis stills tell the story of ancient Persia, and that is Iran through my eyes for today.